Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with the weekly kickoff. All right, now we're already into Tuesday. We've seen a big move on the Monday, and that's really around that release of this DeepSeek artificial intelligence software out of China. Saw the Nasdaq crash out, right? So that's going to be something we're going to need to keep an eye on. But let's just have a look at where the fundamental action is going to be, right? So we've got a few things Tuesday. Really, for me, the US durable goods consumer confidence numbers, Case-Shiller numbers out of the US, worth having a look at, right? Christine Lagarde is speaking, the ECB president, but we do have the ECB later in the week. Now, for me, one of the best opportunities this week is the Aussie CPI numbers. Okay. And I have made a bit of a covered that detail in the live trader hub. You can see what's going on there. I'll be updating the tradable instruments as we go through leading up to that event. Now outside of that, that's Wednesday, right? You come into into the main part of the week. I was going to say you've got a couple of different central banks meeting, right? The Bank of Canada, you've got the Fed, and then we've got you just can't see it just here at the moment, but if I scroll down, the ECB, right? So with these key events on Thursday, the ECB, so we've got three central banks coming up. Now, normally you'd be frothing, right? Looking for something interesting out of these central banks. But if we come into the interest rate probabilities, right? The Federal Reserve, 97%, no change, right? It's a non-event, right? The ECB, 93, almost 94% of a 0.25% cut. The Bank of Canada, okay, a cut, 0.25% cut, 95%. So the market has basically fully factored these in. If anything, you might get some comments that you can trade, but central banks aren't trying to sort of ruffle the waters. They're just sort of managing their interest rate cycle. So with these numbers fully factored in, I'm not expecting much out of this at all, right? So just be aware if you are getting excited about potential big moves on the CAD, the dollar, and obviously the euro, well, maybe look outside those because, once the ECB are out of the way, we do start to get some sort of second tier, third tier numbers out of the US. You've got some more employment, retail sales figures out of Germany, which are generally important. The real cycle for the market starts after the Fed meeting, right? And along with that, we've got the Bank of Canada and the ECB, right? So there's a fair bit to look at, but don't get fooled by, the hype around the central bank changing rates. As I've stated, the potential changes have been factored in or no changes, right? So the Fed, the consensus is like there's no change in the Fed. We know the numbers have been good. There's no need for them to change rates. Whereas ECB, Bank of Canada, of course, right? So let's just see how it plays out. But I'm just downgrading those events for you so you don't sort of get all worked up and thinking, well, I've got a great chance here. I've got the central bank in play. It just doesn't work like that, right? And even on Thursday, we've got GDP, unemployment figures, consumer confidence numbers out of the EU, but the interest rate decision dominates, and that's afterwards, right? So the 0.25% factored in. I can't see those numbers doing too much ahead of that. All right. So that's pretty much where we are, guys. It's lots of interest, but at the moment, just focus on the key events where we can really focus on things. And that's like the Aussie inflation numbers. The best thing about that is it's a day before all the major activity, right? So you get a chance to get a good trade on if the penny drops. All right, guys. So not bad news, but just keep an eye on the flow of the markets. We are seeing a little bit of strange activity around this DeepSeek Chinese or free artificial intelligence. It's sending a shockwave through US equity markets. And I'll tell you what, that's something to keep an eye on, right? Because there's so much value geared up into like Nvidia and a whole range of US tech companies on this AI. And if China's come out with a solution that is very low cost, it's going to blow those companies up. So let's keep an eye on that. All right, guys, that's the weekly kickoff. Good luck. Cheerio.